Hello everyone and welcome back to another workshop in the ICP Bitcoin DeFi Bootcamp. Today we're going to start off our series of demos. So we have Bob Bodley coming to present Odin.fun, which I hope that you guys have already had a quick look at the site. If not, it is linked in Discord. And I'm sure Bob will send a link in the chat very, very soon for you to be able to check out and follow along with him. He is coming up to join me on stage now. It'd be great to have a really nice interactive session today. So if you do have any questions for Bob, we're going to keep the chat open as we go along. We'll be interjecting and answering any questions as and when they come up. So please do use the chat to be able to directly interact with Bob. Hi, Bob. I see you're in the car.
Yes, I have decent internet, but ended up having to run some kids to school. So you get me in the car today. I'm not driving. I'm just here. It's gonna be great.
That's good. Do you want to share your screen and we can get started?
Yeah, sounds great.
Cool.
All right. How are we? We're looking okay?
Yeah.
Cool. Should I just jump right in?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. If you haven't been following along, let me just do a brief intro on Odin.fun. Interesting. Okay, well, we might not get the Explorer today. I thought we were going to be okay on the Explorer, but maybe there's some errors on the request side, so I can just okay. So this is, well, we might not actually get what I wanted to get here. Hold on. I should have sufficiently tested this prior to let me just, I'll give you the explainer as I am, as I'm figuring out things on the internet side. So GM everyone. Off just for a second, but then I will be back.
Anything I might be able to share, Bob? Oh, I think Bob's frozen. We cannot hear you. Can you hear me? Or at least I can't hear you. If anyone in chat can hear Bob, can you put in chat? No, your screen is frozen for me as well. I might take you down and invite you back up again, and maybe that will help. Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We can see you.
Excellent. All right. Apologies for that. Let's try to share screen and see if we can get this going now. Okay, there we go. This okay?
Yes, nice, looking good.
Okay, this is Odin.fun Explorer for the last 2 weeks or so. I mean, these metrics are all time. Odin.fun is the fastest way to trade Bitcoin tokens. So you can see over here, if you're familiar with like the rune standard on Bitcoin, it's, this series of, characters plus dots. So these are all rune stickers. We can open the rune link in a new tab here. You can see this is dog, and then there are a bunch of other tokens. Many of these have launched. The majority of these have launched on Odin.fun. So Odin.fun is like a launch pad. You can create tokens. You can buy them along a bonding curve, and then you can, once a token graduates, then we take zero 0.2 BTC and 20% of the tokens, and we put those in an AMM. And that essentially facilitates liquidity. One of the problems with runes historically has been liquidity. All of the money for minting runes goes straight to miners and doesn't go into liquidity pools. And so tokens just don't have a lot of liquidity, which is a problem for people that want to trade. So our goal was to essentially create a way for people to trade tokens on Bitcoin in a really, really fast, seamless, Bitcoin native way. And so this is Odin.fun. We've done, you can see we're at like 9,200 BTC volume all time. This is our chart. For volume over the last 30 days, you can see we had a couple zero volume days because of our recent exploit. If you didn't hear about that, we were exploited back on like August 12th, and did a bunch of work here to get back running again. Transactions looking pretty good. Deposits, withdrawals looking pretty good. Just hit 250,000 users, which is pretty awesome. So metrics are all good, and then this is like a real-time view, so you can see people doing different actions, on Odin.fun in real time. So sometimes I like to just sit here and chill in the recent activity view. Having built something that people actually use is actually a pretty fun. Fun experience. So, we have, I don't know, 10, 20, 30 transactions in the last, 10, 15 seconds. So, pretty fun.
Bob, can I interrupt you with a question?
Yeah, please.
So you were talking about liquidity and that being a problem with runes previously. Z has asked, what would be a good starting liquidity for a token to be like legit?
Yeah, it depends on market cap, really. Like for our tokens, when our tokens reach 1 BTC market cap, that's when they graduate. And so that's like, 115K. And at that point, we put 0.2 Bitcoin and 20% of tokens into a liquidity pool, which is about 50K of liquidity, roughly. And so that's about, I don't know, almost half of the market cap. Obviously, as your token gets bigger, if you have like a $50 million market cap token, you still probably want $1 million of liquidity. Most tokens don't have that, but that's kind of like ideal. You want to be able to handle size. If people want to come in and trade in size. So like when Trump launched his token, it had this this was probably the best example. When Trump launched his token on Solana, it was like ridiculous amounts of liquidity. It was like I don't know, like $100 million or something of liquidity. It was like ridiculous, or maybe it was concentrated liquidity. But anyway, it was. If you were looking at the trading happening, people were like buying $1 million or $3 million of the token and selling like $5 million of the token, and the price was like not moving at all. It was like really tiny blips on the price chart. And so that's the benefit of more liquidity. More liquidity brings more volume because you get better price spread. You get better conditions for trading.
Jill has also asked if you have liquidity incentives.
Yeah. So with any kind of automated market maker, we use just like a Uniswap V2 type model. So 0.3% of the fees that from an AMM trade go directly to the liquidity providers. So we take a 0.5% fee, and then of that, 60% of that go to liquidity providers. So that's just the standard, LP reward for providing liquidity for tokens.
So those are fees and not direct incentives, Jill has asked.
Right. So that's not like, sometimes people throw in, liquidity provide LP incentives on top, like tokens, or like, stake your LP and get additional rewards or something like that. Currently there are no incentives other than just the, 30 basis point fee that goes back to liquidity providers.
Cool. Thank you for that. I'll go backstage again now, and when we have some more questions, I'll hop back up.
All right, let's jump over to Odin.fun now. You can see, like I already said, a ton of tokens here. You can come in, and it's really easy to create a token. You just put in a name and a ticker. We could create like the Bob token with the Bob ticker with the Bob description. Upload an image. Maybe we want to buy some portion of the supply, and then we just create the token. We didn't want people to have to wait when creating tokens. If you're familiar with the Rune standard, you actually have to do a commit, and then you have to wait 6 confirmations, and then you have to do a reveal. So that's about an hour on average, and we didn't want people to have to wait an hour. Meme coins trade at the speed of light, and so you need to be able to like create them and trade them. And so when we create tokens, we create them specifically on the Odin.fun side, and they don't exist yet on Bitcoin L1. So if we just filter by age here, these are the most recent tokens created. Looks like someone was going to town on these. But you can see that this token doesn't have a ticker. It doesn't have a runes ticker yet, and that's because it hasn't ascended yet, or it hasn't graduated yet. We don't actually etch the tokens to Bitcoin L1 until the token is graduated from the bonding curve. So you could see all of these tokens, none of them have ascended yet. And so none of them have been etched to Bitcoin L1 yet. And I think that's strategic as well. Like, you don't have to etch everything to Bitcoin. I mean, if someone's going to launch a token and then no one's going to care about it, like, that doesn't need to live on Bitcoin. But as soon as they graduate, then they get a ticker. And then let me just show. Yeah, it's probably fine to disconnect, and I'll disconnect. Okay, so we use something called wallet abstraction here. You can see, connecting this feels just like a native Bitcoin app. All of the Bitcoin wallets are supported, and you can just log in directly with your Bitcoin wallet. And this is I think it's hard to understate, or hard to overstate, sorry, the importance of um, direct Bitcoin wallet integration. Meeting your users where they are, making them use a wallet, or enabling them to use a wallet that they've already been using in the Bitcoin Season 2 ecosystem, I think is vital from like a user experience perspective. So we use account abstraction in that way. So Odin.fun, technically, like, but behind the scenes, it's built on a Bitcoin layer called ICP. But because of the account abstraction, we don't actually have to know anything about ICP. Like, you don't see ICP anywhere. You just see Bitcoin. You don't need any other token for like gas fees or network fees. Like, I can just come in here. Let's see. Let's search. Let's sort by volume, and let's just like trigger a purchase. You can see that purchase was successful. I didn't have to sign a transaction. I didn't have to pay gas fees. I didn't have to pay network fees. I didn't need to know, like, what chain is this built on. It's just Bitcoin. I just paid 500 sats and bought some Odin Dog. We can click into Odin Dog. You can see I bought 1.7 Odin Dog tokens at a price of 300 sats for my 500 sat purchase. And so from like a user experience perspective, it's pretty fantastic. You can also see, so I talked about account abstraction. That's what the wallet signing in. Chain abstraction is like the no gas fees, no network fees. You don't need any other token. You don't need anything else. In fact, you don't need to know anything else. It's just Bitcoin. Even to like, get started, it's all just Bitcoin. You just come in and you deposit Bitcoin. You can get, from an external wallet, you can come in and get your Bitcoin deposit address, get that address, and then you're off to the races once you deposit Bitcoin. You can see transactions coming in here. These are all just Bitcoin deposits coming in the last, hour. So lots and lots of deposits coming in. You can see they go from processing to finalized. So people, it's similar to like I don't know, um, like a gambling platform or a betting platform or like a centralized exchange model where you deposit funds in and then you do all your trading and then you can withdraw back to Bitcoin 01. Let's see, chain abstraction, account abstraction, session keys. So you saw that when I logged in, I actually uh, signed a message. That signing the message was actually what granted me this kind of like delegation behind the scenes. It's a 48-hour delegation, which means that I no longer have to sign with my wallet address, which is pretty nice because I could just come in here for Odin Dog and I could just like, I don't know, buy 10 transactions in a row or whatever, and they're just all going to work. And they're all going to be really fast. And I don't have to like sign anything. You can see we just did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 purchases in like, a second or something. And it's because of this session key experience where now you don't have to, sign with your wallet every time. Like it feels much more like a native like a Web 2 app almost, where you can just pick what you want to do and then go and do it, and it just works, which is pretty fabulous from like a user experience perspective.
Can I jump in, Bob?
Yes, please.
So we've had a couple of questions which sort of, I think, touching on the kind of abstraction that you're talking about. First of all, which is slightly unrelated, Ree wanted to clarify, you're only trading on Bitcoin when the coin has enough market cap, and this is done through ICP when it's put on Bitcoin. Is that right?
So technically, none of this is settling to Bitcoin 01, even when the coin graduates. Like Bitcoin is not fast enough to um, handle the speed. Bitcoin will maybe never be fast enough. So you can't do this kind of experience on Bitcoin 01. It's just not possible. Um, there are lots of different people trying to do different things to like scale Bitcoin and make it easier to do things like this, but you have to settle on a different layer. So all of the trading here happens on the ICP layer, kind of under the hood. The beauty of the model is whenever you want, you can withdraw back to Bitcoin 01. So you can, deposit in, trade, do everything that you want. Everything's really fast and nice and tons of liquidity. And then whenever you want, you can just withdraw Bitcoin directly back to Bitcoin 01 or withdraw your runes tokens back to Bitcoin 01.
And Adam has also asked, are there any other third parties involved in this process besides ICP that you've mentioned?
So yeah, I mean, we leverage a lot of like good tech behind the scenes, meaning like ICP has a set of threshold signing. I don't know how familiar the audience is with threshold signing, but it's essentially like a fancy multi-sig with some like improvements in security. So ICP has threshold ECDSA, threshold EDDSA, and threshold Schnorr. I call this the trifecta of threshold signing because you can basically integrate any blockchain in existence with these three threshold signing mechanisms, which means that an ICP smart contract can directly hold Bitcoin. Like your ICP smart contract can have a Bitcoin address, or it could have a Solana address, or it could have an Ethereum address, or it could have a Cosmos address, or a Dogecoin address. It goes on and on and on. Like your smart contract can directly control those because behind the scenes there are these primitives, these threshold signing mechanisms that facilitate this. And then obviously you're trusting ICP, and there are a couple different trust assumptions there, but that's essentially that's the trade-off that we're making here, is we're adding some trust assumptions in order to get better user experience, more speed, better liquidity, so yeah.
Cool, thank you. And one thing slightly unrelated to that question, Anthony's asked, does Odin use its own AMM like Pump.fun?
Yeah, so originally Pump.fun was the launch pad, and then they would put tokens on Radium. But then eventually they decided, well, we don't want to give Radium all of our all of our fees, and so they released Pump Swap. So Pump Swap is now the AMM, and Pump.fun is kind of the launch pad. It's all kind of built into one. In our case, we didn't really have an AMM to use. Like there isn't really an AMM on Bitcoin anywhere, and so we have everything just built in. So these trades that I made on Odin happened via the AMM. So we could actually come in and we can look at the liquidity, and you can see, here's Odin. There's $682,000 of liquidity. You could see like the APR based on the volume for trading the token. The fees and market cap. So essentially, we have the token launchpad and the AMM, and it's all built into one. And it's basically the exact same user experience. If we look here at like some tokens that have not ascended, like you can just buy it just like you can the tokens that have ascended. Ascended is graduated. Um, and so yeah, it's all built into to Odin.fun.
Cool. I'll jump back down now and we can continue, and I'll be back soon, I'm sure.
Cool. Okay, let's see if I missed any other features here. I mean, this is just a, pretty typical trading view chart. We do have essentially to power a front end like this and to make it update in real time. Like, let me show you. If I buy, a couple dollars worth of, how low can I go? Okay, let's buy $1. You could see that I placed the transaction, and then if you watch for it to show up right here, it basically comes in almost in real time. It's like a second or or a couple seconds. I guess it was probably, let's see, from when it completes until it actually shows up. Yeah, so it's almost real time. The chart updates, the front end updates. So what happens is everything happens in a smart contract. And when I make that purchase, I'm interacting directly with that smart contract. That fires an event. That event is then stored directly in the smart contract. And then we have an event indexer. That indexer then like looks through all of those events and then is saving them to our database. And then that database is essentially our API, and that's how we enable really really fast updates onto the front end. Is because we have it's a blazingly fast indexer that then syncs all those events over to our API, and then that is what powers the front end. And so the front end, I mean, I guess technically there's maybe an additional trust assumption there, where you're essentially trusting the front end, except that you can't really do anything malicious. Even if the front end gave you incorrect values, like you can't do anything malicious. So it's just like any indexer, any kind of like Bitcoin Explorer or Ethereum Explorer or any kind of like application. You kind of just trust that their indexer is working correctly. Um, let's see if I missed any of the features. I guess one thing that we have that's kind of really helped our growth is we have this referral program. And so you can share, this is my unique referral code. So I can share this with people. And then when they join Odin.fun, it matches up this referral to me as a user. And then you can see how many referrals I have, and you can see how many, sats I've earned because of those referrals. So when you refer someone to Odin.fun, you earn 25% of the platform fee for that user when they trade forever. And so I think there's a better view here. Actually, like I think we can do this in real time. I don't think I've claimed earnings yet in a while. Okay, so I have, that's my referral link. Those are my total referrals. This is my unclaimed referral amount. So I have about $100 in referrals. I can hit claim now. We get this nice, lightning and then some nice confetti for having claimed successfully. This is like feel good, feel good. Congrats, you got some Bitcoin confetti. Um, and this is I I've been telling people this, but this might be the best way to stack sats right now. People are always looking for Bitcoin yield. And honestly, referring users to trade on Odin.fun is not a bad gig in terms of earning BTC. So that's our referral program. I think this kind of referral program is important just from a growth perspective. Like, you want people shilling your product to the world. You want people sharing links. You want people um, sharing their P&L. I wonder if I have this. Oh no, we have a new share modal coming soon that has like profit and loss with like a nice image and things like that. But it's not quite out. Um, let's see. Anything else that I'm missing here? Any other like questions that you all have about how Odin.fun works? Or
Yes, so we have one question from Aaron here, who's a bit confused about how Odin.fun is built on ICP and also linked to Bitcoin, like the link between Odin.fun, ICP, and Bitcoin. Could you explain that concept again?
sure. Let's see. The best way to think about it is Odin.fun does not settle on Bitcoin. It does not run on Bitcoin. It runs on ICP. And because ICP has a lot of really great tech, you can craft an experience that feels Bitcoin native, even though it's not on Bitcoin. So I mean, it's basically leveraging a whole bunch of different ICP technologies in order to create this experience that just feels Bitcoin native. So I just did. It's probably worth. I have a couple posts. If you don't follow me on Twitter, this is my Twitter profile. Okay, so I had a couple of tweets recently that I think are just worth sharing here. So Odin.fun is as Bitcoin as it gets because all tokens are paired with Bitcoin in the AMM. It's like very rare to actually pair tokens with Bitcoin in an AMM. AMM rewards for liquidity providers come through as Bitcoin. Token devs get Bitcoin rewards when their token graduates. Users stack cold hard sats when they refer users to the platform. BTC is the currency of the platform. You enter with BTC, leave with BTC whenever you want. No other tokens. All graduated tokens are etched to Bitcoin 01 as runes tokens. You don't need any other wallets. Log in with Bitcoin wallets and you're off to the races. So it's like very, very Bitcoin from an experience perspective. And then someone asked, is anything about it ICP? And then, of course, I mean, if you look under the hood, we use threshold signing. This is TCDSA, threshold Schnorr, threshold EDDSA. All interactions are happening directly with an ICP smart contract. Odin.fun events are stored 100% on chain on ICP. There's no MEV or sandwich attacks because transactions execute with fast finality and there's no public mempool. We leverage some interesting Bitcoin tech in order to facilitate, Bitcoin to Odin.fun and back to Bitcoin. Odin.fun's done a whole ton of volume this year, and we have fantastic chain abstraction, wallet abstraction, and session key tech. So that's like my, Bitcoin versus ICP type setup.
It's useful that you had a tweet where you answered that recently. Could you
Yeah,
explain?
this was just
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
it was just two. So I was just going to say it was just 2 days ago. So yeah, very relevant question.
Aaron has asked, can you explain what pairing is? You mentioned.
Pairing.
I think in Aaron, can you specify pairing in
Oh,
what
was it
potential?
this?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, paired with
Yeah.
BTC.
So in an AMM model, you need to have equal dollar amounts of token A and token B. And that's just how it works. It's the constant product formula, K equals X times Y. Am I getting like some bad? Oh no, we're okay. So K equals X times Y. So when you actually have an AMM, you need to pair with some other token. And in our case, everything is paired with Bitcoin. So we actually have pools where we have Bitcoin on one side of the AMM and we have token on the other side of the AMM, which is very, very unique in terms of AMMs.
Anthony has asked, well, Anthony has said the data API is awesome. How can we integrate it?
Integrate like into Odin.fun?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So we do have.
The
Yeah, let me just drop this. This is going to do weird things to the screen sharing, but that's probably our best resource. We also have some Swagger docs on the API side. So I'll just drop those links in. While I'm at it, apologies to the video feed. We're getting a little crazy here, but there are a lot of good resources here. um, we we have been getting regularly DDoSed. I guess some people just want to watch the world burn or something, and so we've had to kind of increase security. And so all of the things on this API, like all of this is generally active. Like it all works, but you might need to get your IP address whitelisted in order for you to get API access. If you want to get access, you can just DM me on Twitter. I'm just at Bob Bodley. And then we have a developer chat that I can add you to. And we have I can whitelist APIs as well. In terms of the trade API, it is a little bit different. So this is most of our just like analytics API stuff. If you look in the Mintlify link, you can see there's actually like a preparing auth setup, and then we use a thing called sign in with Bitcoin, and then you can authenticate and actually do canister calls or just smart contract calls. And so that's how you would actually trade. And so you should be able to follow through here, and you could build, you could build a bot, you could build a, whatever you want to build as a developer, and you could integrate directly into the Odin.fun ecosystem.
You mentioned security there, and I actually paused some security questions from earlier because I wanted to keep us on track. But do you mind if we go back to them now?
Yeah, that's great.
So Z asked originally, is Odin audited? If yes, by what auditing firm or project?
Yes. So we do have an audit. We worked with a group called River. They've done quite a bit of ICP smart contract audits. So like very, very deep on all things ICP smart contracts. So we did have them do an audit. We have had a couple of external reviews as well. I call them external reviews rather than audits because it was more like, there's a really, really, really smart, savvy developer, and I wanted him to come in and look at our code. Auditing firms aren't perfect, and they don't find everything. And it's not like it's not like you get your code audited and then everything is hunky dory and you ride off into the sunset with a secure protocol. It's more nuanced than that because some kinds of attacks are uh, less obvious. And so we have done an official audit, and we did publish that publicly. If you like search on my Twitter, you can find that audit report. And then I basically reached out to all of the savviest, smartest ICP developers to do external reviews on our smart contracts as well.
Nice. And, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say it's a continual process though. So we are working with some additional firms. There are a couple of additional changes that we're making over the next month or so, and then we'll do another round of audits. We'll probably bring in BlockSec. BlockSec has done quite a bit of work in the ICP smart contract ecosystem, and then Trail of Bits audit would be fantastic. So that might be kind of the culmination of audits for us.
Z also asked, how do you handle some things like insider trading schemes? Do you have any safety nets, or are there any security measures like freezing assets?
Yeah, good question. Currently, like if you look at this top token, CryptoBerg, you can see that it's probably heavily supply controlled. I mean, just looking at the way this token trades, like it's not a very organic looking trade token. If you look at these like top 20 users, uh, like none of them have names. They're all just kind of the random and non-user. And so, and even if you look like at the very beginning of this token, if we switch to like the 4 hour view, you can see that like, at the very beginning, like a large amount of supply was bought up of of this token. So currently, like yeah, you could come in and you could hold a very large supply of a token across a bunch of different accounts, and it would look like a bunch of people are holding. Like this shows, 5,000 holders have at least $100 of token. Um, but the way the token trades is a little bit suspicious. Like, sure, like maybe there is like a legit crypto burger community, and I'm just like not aware of like where they live. A lot of our token communities are actually based in China or Hong Kong, and so you might look at this token like for SETI scan, it has like a almost a $33 million market cap, and you might think like, oh, this is, maybe this isn't legit. But I know that this group specifically, I know there's a large group, like 5,000 plus in their community. Like this is a legitimate token community on Odin.fun, and they're actively growing Bitcoin and growing Odin.fun. And you haven't heard about it on crypto Twitter because these people don't live on crypto Twitter. The Chinese audience is less on Twitter and more in other places. And so um, yes, currently, I mean, you can do. I mean, it's a permissionless platform. Like you can do all kinds of crazy things on here. We are iteratively working towards like how can we provide better data for users, whether it's data on users specifically, like a user reputation score of some kind, or maybe it's like a token reputation score of some kind. But there are lots of metrics we can add that can like help users understand, what they're trading.
Thank you. Adam has asked, can you speak a little more about how the gas fees are abstracted away? So going back to the abstraction you were
Sure.
talking about earlier.
Yeah. So ICP as a blockchain is, from like a tech perspective, is super fantastic because all of the gas fee abstraction happens natively. So you don't have to do anything as a developer in order to abstract away the gas fees. By default, users don't have to pay fees. And that's really a beautiful thing because you don't need any new token. Like just imagine the user experience if a user has to come in, get a new wallet to hold a new token to pay gas fees. I don't know if anyone's ever like received an airdrop on some random eth2 like base or something, and then it's like, hey, I want to send that back to my main wallet, but you can't because you don't have base ETH in order to pay your gas fees. And so you have to like go and buy ETH, and then you have to like send ETH, bridge it to base, and then you finally have base ETH, and then you can transfer out. And so gas fee abstraction, I think, is a mandatory feature set, and it's just natively built in. So users, as they interact with smart contracts, there's no like, from a chain perspective, there's nothing forcing you to pay fees in any kind. And so in our case, we charge Bitcoin fees. So you can just pay directly with your Bitcoin balance, which is really nice because we can prevent DDoS attacks that way. So by putting small fees across the board on all of these interactions, partly that's our revenue model, but also partly that's how we keep the platform safe and secure from someone trying to like come in and DDoS our platform. Um, so yeah, it's just built in, and then we can just add fees on all of the actions that we want. So it's a lot more fine grained, or like more granular in how we can handle it, which is super fantastic.
Thank you. Tobias has asked, is there a Telegram group for the Odin.fun community, or where is the community based?
Yeah, Telegram group, currently it is invite only, so you'll need an invite if you want to just DM me on Twitter or something. Or I'm Bob Bodley on Telegram as well. I'm just at Bob Bodley on Telegram, Twitter, and Discord. So you're welcome to just DM me wherever you want, and then I can get you added to the developer Telegram. I think we have, I don't know, 30 or 40 people in there right now.
Nice. Hopefully a few more after today. Thank you for all your questions, everyone. Bob, is there anything else you'd like to cover? Otherwise, unless we have any more questions, we can start thinking about wrapping up.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've pretty much covered everything on the feature set. Maybe I'll just chat a little bit about, like, what's next for us. Uh, I think that we started building Odin.fun in November, and then it was November, December, January, so 3 months. We built the initial version of Odin.fun in 3 months, from start to finish, from conception of the idea to deployed in production, was 3 months. And it was a wild 3 months. I mean, we were building like crazy, nights and weekends, going really, really hard. And but like previously we built an ordinals L2 marketplace. It was called Bionic. The functionality was really fantastic as well. The design was nice. The user experience was nice. Uh, the user experience wasn't as nice as it could have been, but it was like getting there. But we just never got traction, and we tried for probably like a year and a half to like make it work. And then eventually we were like, let's just go to where the users are, go to where the traction is, go to where go to where, rather than like staying with our idea and trying to like force it. There was a lot of people like complaining about trading runes, and so we decided, well, let's make a better way to trade runes. And so Odin.fun was born. And then we've gotten a lot of traction in the last 7 months, which has been pretty fantastic. And so moving forward, we want to double down on our existing growth. If you look at our traction, I mean, 40 BTC volume in a day is like super fantastic for the Bitcoin space. If you look at like Magic Eden volumes, or you look at honestly, you look at any volume anywhere on Bitcoin L1, and 40 Bitcoin volume in a day is phenomenal. In fact, you could probably add up all the volume across all platforms on Bitcoin L1, and you wouldn't get 40 BTC. Ordinals, runes, BRC20, etc. Add them all up. And so, traction is really good. I think our goal now is, the way we built Odin.fun, like we could integrate BRC20 tokens into Odin.fun. We have rune support right now, but there's nothing stopping us from adding BRC20 or BRC20 2.0. There's nothing stopping us from adding alkanes, or some people have been talking about these BTKN tokens on Spark. Like there's nothing stopping us from adding Spark tokens. Odin.fun can really be kind of like this Bitcoin DEX where you can just trade all of your tokens, regardless of the meta protocol. And so that's one of the advantages, again, of building on this ICP abstraction layer, is the cross-chain tech is really good. And if we wanted to integrate like Solana, that's one of the things that we're working on right now. Like imagine if you could log in with Phantom, deposit Sol, swap to BTC, and trade in less than 60 seconds. That's kind of my goal, and I think it's possible. I mean, we found like multiple ways that we can pull this off. And so, at that point, it starts to feel like, I mean, you basically have the speed and experience of Solana here because it's fast and it's awesome. And if you can easily onboard Solana users that way, it starts to feel kind of like a Solana platform in a way, because you're using your Solana wallet to log in. And if you can go Solana to BTC that quickly, that's going to be one of the fastest ways to go Sol to BTC cross chain. And so we're going to start to integrate other chains. I like to think about Bitcoin as like a giant black hole. Like everything is coming to Bitcoin. Anything that's ever been done on any other chain, I think, is coming to Bitcoin. I think if you can look at Solana tokens, Ethereum tokens, Base tokens. Jesse at Base just announced a Base Solana bridge. I think that completes the triangle for me. I think Solana, Base, and Bitcoin. I think that's like a harmonious triangle there. Maybe throw in a dash of Hyperliquid in there somewhere. But I think that there's a ton of opportunity for Bitcoin products that can create fantastic user experiences, be fast, abstract away all of the complexities, and then integrate other chains, integrate other meta protocol standards, etc. So yeah.
One last question. Z has asked, will Bitcoin be quantum proof when integrated with ICP?
So regarding quantum, I mean, there are a lot of people on the timeline kind of scared about quantum. I would say we have at least 10 years. Every so often there's a new research group that publishes a new 6-bit quantum, experiment or something that people get worried about. But I think it's a problem that we'll have to deal with eventually, but doesn't really matter right now. And it's a problem that the whole world is going to have to deal with. Like, if you can break Bitcoin, then you can break bank accounts and you can break all kinds of other encryption. Like, there's going to have to be a solid quantum resistance campaign across all of tech, not just blockchain. So I guess technically, if you're on ICP, that would be in some cases. Well, let's see. What are the signatures on ICP? It's the ED 25519. I don't know if that's quantum secure or not. I'm assuming so, but I actually don't know. So yeah, TBD. TBD on that one, I guess.
At the moment, but something to think about in the future.
Eventually, yes.
Adam has asked, based on what you've seen so far working at Odin.fun, what makes a successful meme coin project? Do you have any kind of thoughts and opinions on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably community. If you can get 100,000 people that care about a token, the token's going to do well. Like, you just can't prevent it from doing well if there are 100,000 people that love it. And so it's community, it's memeability, it's virality. I think that the more that a token resonates with your community, the more that the token will do well. I mean, of course, there are so meme coins in general, I would call it attention-based investing. So look at like GameStop, for example. I think GameStop was the perfect example of a 100% attention-based stock. If you look at like Tesla, I would say Tesla is like 25% attention, maybe 50% attention, and then like 50% fundamentals. Warren Buffett is like 100% fundamentals. Just go buy into an industry that's undervalued, that's going to grow in the next 50 years, and then cut costs and make money. But meme coins is definitely full attention, and so it's all about the eyeballs. And so if you can get eyeballs, then you're going to be successful. But attention is fickle. There's been a recent token on Pump Fund that people have been excited about called Bagwork. This is not a Bagwork shill. The token is down and it'll probably go to zero, just like everything else. But they essentially did a whole bunch of viral stunts in order to get attention. Some of them like borderline questionable legality. So like, I don't know that I love that model. But anyway, I would say for a legitimate project, I would say community. You want to have a massive community. You want lots of people that are loving your token.
Yeah, we're definitely not condoning borderline illegal stunts for viral marketing.
Agreed. Yeah, don't do that. Yeah.
Don't clip us out of context. No winking, Adam. Don't do it. Thank you for that insight, Bob. I'm sure that's quite interesting to Adam and the rest of the students, especially those thinking of potentially launching a project. We'll see how viral they can go. Okay, everyone, thank you for your questions so far. Do we have any more for Bob while we have him here? Otherwise, we will I can see a couple of people typing, so we'll give them a minute. But while they are, thank you, Bob, for joining us today. Thanks for making the time, even though you had to do the school run. I hope that.
Yeah. Hopefully the video was okay. I know the internet
the
situation was kind of mediocre, but
yeah, no, the quality once we got you back on stage was perfect. There wasn't lag or anything.
good.
So all good there. Thank you very much for coming in. I hope some of our students are going to start exploring Odin.fun a bit more and potentially using some of your data feeds as well. Thank you for guesting and answering their wild questions, he says. So thank you very much. We will wrap up here for today, everyone, and for this week as well. We'll be back next week with some more workshops on Monday and Wednesday. This marks us being nearly halfway through the bootcamp. So well done to everyone who made it this far. I hope you've been having a good time and learning lots. And it's great to see that you are all so active in the chat and interested and curious. It's really cool to see. So we're looking forward to the rest of the bootcamp and we'll see you all very soon. Have a good rest of your day, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.